Still gonna keep this up? Huh? Calm down. Kurama. There's no need to be scared. If you don't do any more bad stuff, we won't do anything either.
In this video, I'm going to talk about Kurama from Naruto. I'm going to talk about the fact that in his eyes, you're going to see the power of emotional mastery once you fully owned and access that strength. So my name is Matt Debunking, and I'm a men's coach, and I help men recalibrate, rebuild and reframe their identities so that they can go out there and achieve the very things that they are set to achieve without any limitations or losing their authentic selves trying to win over the things that they're trying to do. Right, so I'm an author. My book is out on Amazon. It's called The Man Who Refused to Stay Invisible. And yeah, the link is in the description. If you like what you hear in this video, of course, I share everything I know in that book. So grab it if you're interested. I want to debunk something, right? And what I want to debunk as first things first is the fact that the idea that you not utilizing your emotions makes you strong is probably one of the most costly and expensive things we are allowing ourselves to believe. And the reason I say that is because, number one, we operate in three planes: the physical plane, the mental plane, and the spiritual plane. You only operating based on what you see physically is making you blind emotionally and spiritually. In order for you to operate effectively in the emotional space and the spiritual space, and again, if you're a Christian, we are talking about faith. If you're not a Christian, we're talking about the fact that before water becomes ice, it has to be vapor. So technically you can't see vapor, but it's there, correct? That's the same thing we're looking at when it comes to faith. You can't see it, but you know it's there, right? So my point is this: when you just base your belief on what the physical shows you, you're capping your strength, you're capping your ability to understand what's going on out there, but most importantly, you're capping your ability to perform to the best of your ability. And the reason why I bring up Kurama and his eyes is because in the passage or Naruto, we can see how Naruto was able to control his senses, control himself, control Kurama, which in this case and scenario is the equivalent of our emotions, by just allowing a quick glance to come out, but then holding it in and saying, no, not now. And you see how he didn't forcefully put it down. It was like a tap in the shoulder. You see, the master taps the pet on the shoulder. The master is the person that's able to calibrate himself with the minimum amount of work. You see, when it takes you everything you've got in your system to recalibrate yourself, you haven't learned how to master yourself. The whole point of the great recalibration and everything I talk about is the fact that you're able to bring yourself back to your center in a quick heartbeat. And you can only do that through the reps. You can only do that through building a system that allows you to recycle energy, emotions or energy, in the right way. You see, a lot of us are burnt out because instead of using that energy, we suppress it. And then we explode, or we go ballistic, trying to hold something that's supposed to be released, okay? Most men are not in control of their emotions. And it's not their fault. I'd say what I share in this channel, I haven't seen anyone else. I've never seen someone talk about, and this is my problem. I think a lot of people ask me, wow, your videos are so insightful, and look, you've got so much knowledge. Yeah, thanks, great. The problem is I can't copy anyone because no one's talking about this. Why? Because no one knows how to address this the way I address it. We have two corners. We have the people that talk about emotions and say, oh, this is weak man stuff, this is weak man talk, and then we've got the suppression guys, or the extra expressive guys that say, no, let it all out, and whoever can't deal with it is on them. It's not on you. You can be tired, okay? You're allowed to feel things and not know how to deal with them. You're still a leader though, but it's okay for you not to lead sometimes. Don't lead your body or don't lead your decisions. Sometimes it's okay for you to just let them be. And then we have people like myself trying to put the two pieces together so that we can actually heal men, so that we can actually work towards a feasible solution that allows men to thrive in today's generation with the tools that we've been given. Because unfortunately, we're in between being outdated and under-equipped, which is why we're suffering so much as men. Right, so again, a bit more about myself. I used to think that strength was being able to snap when you felt disrespected. I would look at the people that were disrespected and say, yes, he has every right to be angry and he has every right to go red, right? Lose control over himself. Until I heard a story from a guy I was speaking to, and he said to me, listen, I raised the radiator trying to prove a point. I didn't feel as you can imagine, so excited about the idea of promoting violence because of disrespect. I do recommend restraint. I do believe that, listen, if someone disrespects you, you should 100% stand up for yourself, but not to the point of allowing that person to now look at you and say, oh, yeah, whatever he's done is fair. Did you see what you had to go through? So a lot of us are pre-wired to react because under certain circumstances it's excused. So what would happen though, what happens with this is we fail to realize how the emotional state or space works. The emotional state or space works based on the terrain, and that terrain needs to be set by the person who wants majority of the control. You want to be the leader? Fine, set the terrain, set the flooring. And in order for you to set the flooring, the frequency needs to be consistently calm. Does that mean that in that flooring you can get disrespected and people are just going to walk all over you? Absolutely not. The frequency is the standard you create, and whoever doesn't align with it has to step away from it. Whoever does align with it can enter and maintain the stability that you've already created for them. Until you understand that masculinity is the ability to stay grounded. Until you understand that masculinity is the ability to be able to look at right through the storm because of the focus you created. Once you understand that the whole point of masculinity is to have a direction, you're going to keep confusing that the idea of someone disrespected me, I'm gonna get my hands up and I'm gonna start fighting them. When your partner now comes into the picture and you've created that stability, what happens is they're gonna come with their waves, and their waves should stay within the frame. If they step out, they get warned the first time. The second time, they're out of the frame because they don't fit in it. So their reaction should be contained within that frame. Now, the best way to describe it practically is we don't shout at each other. So it won't even get to the point where I have to tolerate a disrespect, because by the time you shouted at me, the frame is like this now, and it's easy for it to exceed the terrain you've set, right? So my terrain is here and the containment level is here. We don't shout at each other. You could get angry, that's fine. I'm not telling you not to get angry, but we don't shout. And because we don't shout, there's certain things that cannot be said. We don't swear at each other. So regardless of how angry you get, it's going to be contained. I'm not saying that always going to be perfect, but in order for you to protect the terrain and set the terrain properly, you need to make it impossible almost for you to create an environment where you could be disrespected, right? So that's even when it comes to your job. This is what I teach some of the guys I work with, right? When it comes to your job, right, you want to make sure you don't get disrespected, or you're dealing with a lot of people that are a lot older than you are. Set the terrain. Guys, I'm here. And I'm not making this difficult for anyone, but I'm here. So we can meet here, and I'm happy for us to do that, or we don't engage. But I'm not going to allow you to get to the disrespectful state, because that's outside of my bounds. I can't operate on that stage. Why? Because at that stage, the only response I have is a punch in the face. So you set the stages, right? But you make it clear that I can't get there. And this is not because you're angry. This is not because you're reacting. This is because that's the terrain you set. You disrespect me, I will bang you in your face. I'm not promoting violence. I'm just saying it can't get to that because I don't have the capacity to handle that. So let's keep it respectful, where you can speak to me in a calm manner and I will speak to you in a calm manner, and we can all go about our happy days. And if they don't respect the boundaries that's been set, if they don't respect the states that have been set or the terrain that you set, you do not engage. You cannot welcome them in. They cannot be part of the terrain, the emotional terrain you've set. It's as simple as that. The reason why I find so much peace in the work I do in the relationship is because I've set the terrain. I don't have the capacity to tolerate a disrespect. It's just not in me. I will walk. I'm gone. I am not the bigger man. This is here. We are here. You step out and I can't, sorry. It's just not something I can. But yet what we don't have, or what we sometimes have actually, is the complete opposite of that, which is you come in, the person that comes in is the person that set the terrain. So they test the waters and it's like, I can keep pushing, and then boom, it goes past your level of compromise or tolerance, and then you now want to go red, but they're like, I can keep haven't said nothing, haven't said nothing, I can keep going, and then you snap, right? And you snap, and now you feel excused to let them know that they've disrespected you. How about you set the terrain from the jump? You say, guys, listen, I really want this conversation to go great. You set the tone of the conversation. This conversation needs to I want us to smash in this conversation. These are my terms and conditions. I hope that everyone can agree to this. If not, I'll be honest, I'm happy to walk away. It's fine. And you're not doing a condescending way or in a way that says, oh, look at this guy, look who you think he is. No. It's in a very understanding and common way. And you make it clear that it's a common goal that everyone wants. Hey guys, listen, I'm sure that everyone wants us to walk away with something tangible out of this situation, right? Cool. So let's set some ground rules. No one shouts at each other. Is that cool? Can we do that? Okay. Second ground rule is everyone listens to each other when they speak. You want to say something, you raise your hand. Cool. We don't listen to respond. We listen to learn. Okay. Let's have a conversation, and then you stop, right? That's a lot more of a. This is my point. Until you acknowledge the emotional state, you're not going to be able to do that. Until Naruto acknowledged that Kurama was always going to be part of him, he was always operating as half of a man. Until you acknowledge that your emotions are always going to be part of you, you're going to be always operating as half of a man. See what I did there? And the reason why I say this is very simple. Emotions are always going to be there. Whether you like them or not, whether you suppress them or not, they're always going to be there. You can disregard them all you like, treat them like crap, or learn how to live with your enemies, which is what I done. Listen, I went through depression. I get it. And that depression wasn't because of life was hard. It was because I was denying myself. I was denying the power I had to come out of that space. And that's my personal story. It could be different from you. But when I was in there, that's not what I was telling myself. What I was telling myself was that it's everybody else's fault. I was fighting for everyone but myself. Okay, who is to blame? Did I tell anyone that I'm paid guy, listen, I'm fighting for myself, I'm fighting for everyone but myself? And we like to do this thing as men where we get into this place where we want to be pitied, but we don't want to let anyone know that we want to be pitied. And like I said, I've done that myself. It's like I'll carry the shopping bags and there's like 10 of them, right? And I'm looking around, I'm saying this, it's no one gonna help me. You carried them. Just set the tone. Saying, guys, I can carry this, can someone else carry this? And I get it. Our ego, our pride, want to be able to do everything for everyone, and that's cool. But make sure that you are pouring into yourself as you do that, because you're going to need a lot more energy than the person that actually says, this is what I'm able to handle, I hope everyone else is able to handle their stuff. My point is this: when Kurama consumed him. Naruto became angry, fearful, lost control, was hurting the people he loved, and he was in chaos. And that's how most people live. The moment you go red, oh my gosh, what happened? I'm so sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Oh my gosh, I don't know what came over me. Yeah, you still haven't learned how to control your rage. You still haven't learned how to be intentional with your emotions. This is why it's like when you try to control it, it comes across like this, right? You're trying to make it a straight line, but this is what it's doing. And then you're asking yourself, why is it going like that? It's because you don't know how to use it. You're not in a calm terrain. That emotional state hasn't been set. So it can't respect you because you haven't respected the fact that, for you to run this stuff, you need to set determined lines that allow the clarity to be very set. Listen, you cross this line, you start shouting at me, I'm gonna disengage. It's that simple. I'm not gonna, no, we're not gonna talk all over it. No. You start shouting, I'm off. Sorry, I'm not gonna tolerate that. You call me names. I'm gonna say, excuse me, say that again, please. Call me that one more time. And this conversation is done. You mirror back. The thing is that people can sense your determination. And when they can sense that you're trying to, there's two different types of warnings. There's the warning where I don't need your validation to tell you this is my last warning. And then there's the, I'm going to warn you so that I can see your reaction at my warning. That second warning is never respected. And people can sense it. So what they'll do is they'll flip it right back onto you. It's like, oh really? Show me. The reason why they're saying show me is because you never believed it yourself. Once I understood the difference between the two, disrespect became a joke. It was fun. I ignore the people that I don't want to deal with. And again, people ask me, oh, you do content, how do you deal with trolls and people insulting you? I either laugh at them or I completely disregard them. Why? Because I can't physically acknowledge them, especially if they're trying to insult me. Why would they try to insult me like I want to be insulted? I don't need to acknowledge them. I don't need to. They're not real to me. That's the truth. Until you come in my face and start doing whatever you need to do, nah, you're not worth my time. Because by the time you come in my face, I'm gonna look at you and say, you sure you wanna go there? I wouldn't recommend it. And I pull up the Kurama eyes, the eyes that mean I meant what I said. You don't wanna go there. And I need you to understand that even as I've done it now, my body's conditioned to flip. And then someone asked me, are you angry? Does that mean you're angry 24/7? Yes. Does it mean you're happy 24/7? Absolutely. Does it mean you're at peace 24/7? Yes, brother. Why? Because I'm aware of where my emotions are located and I can bring them out at a moment's click. Until you have that tap in the shoulder power, you need to master your emotions. And if you're interested in doing that in the next 90 days, hey, listen, this is what I can guarantee you this is going to happen from this. You're never going to have to, no one's ever going to question you again. No one's ever going to be in the position of feeling like they can't hear out what you've got to say. And I need you to understand that this was honed through not just public speaking and doing this in front of talks in front of 1,000 people and whatnot. No, this was honed through live experience of practicing this thing one by one and learning what not to do. If you're interested in learning how to do that, drop me a message on Instagram saying emotional mastery and I'll take you through the whole thing. We'll book a call, see if you work together and then take it from there, right? But I want to debunk. I hope that by this end of this video we can debunk these three things. Please stop saying man up. There's nothing manly about suppressing yourself. There's nothing manly about not being able to control yourself. So instead of saying man up, saying master yourself. I know it sounds weird, but yeah, master yourself. You see how that's different already? Instead of saying don't cry, suppress it. No. cry, but don't you dare lose that war. That war is yours to win. What are you talking about? So I need you to understand that all these things that we keep doing turn us into numb but pretendedly strong people, and we think that that's what it is about, and I'm telling you it's not. I have watched so many videos trying to understand this thing, and I kid you not, the person that came closest to this is Jordan B. Peterson when he explained the art of being a gentle beast. You want to have access to your power, bro. If you don't have access to your power, who does? You want to have access to your strength, your inner strength. You want to have access to your ability to stay resilient. You want to have access to your ability to stand up for yourself. Because if you don't stand up for yourself, who will? I'm sorry to break it to you, but I don't think there's an army out there ready to protect you. You're on your own. If you don't respect yourself, no one else will. The other myth is be vulnerable and share everything. No! Be transparent. Don't be scared to tell the truth, but stand strong in the things you're sharing. Because if you stand vulnerable, they will mirror your vulnerability. You want people to pity you? Pity yourself. You want people to respect your transparency? Respect your own transparency. That is game. That is the game. You want to be honest with people? Be honest, but do it with strength. Don't let that almost take away from the fact that you're sharing that, and that is the season you're going through. Don't let your vulnerability stop you from being able to be real with the people you care about. A lot of us see vulnerability as, I don't want to seem weak. What you say isn't what makes you weak, it's how you say it. I'll give you a practical example. Hey man, going through a tough time. And I don't know how to move forward. That's example one. Example two. Hey man, I'm going through a tough time. Not sure how I'm gonna move forward, but if you got any tips, I'm trying to get my head around it, but let me know what you think, man. Hey, this is me being honest with you. I don't know, but if you can help me, I'll be much appreciated. That'll mean a lot to me. They're the same thing, or roughly the same thing, but one mirrors pity, the other one mirrors transparency, but honesty. I'm being honest, but I'm not gonna let my honesty take away from the fact that I'm still a man. Being a man to you about the fact that there's something I need help with. The truth is, you cannot suppress your emotions. The idea of suppressing your emotions is a myth. Can you suppress energy? Where is energy? How do you suppress energy? Tell me. Huh? Tell me. I'm all ears. I want to know. How do you suppress energy? You can't do it, can you? You're just misusing the power you've given access to. That's all this is. The idea of suppression is a myth. You cannot suppress something that cannot be held down. Until you acknowledge that in the emotional state, you're just a blind fool that's trying to do things that you should not be doing. I promise you, you're going to carry on being consumed by the very things that were meant to embody you. Until you embody your Kurama, you're going to carry on running laps, trying to figure out why is it that you're always tired? Why is it that I'm always burnt out? Why is it that I don't have energy? You don't have energy because you're not using it. Imagine you went to the petrol station, you filled up the car, put a full tank, and then you're using your hands to push the car. That's what some of you guys are doing when you're suppressing your emotions. You've got a full tank of energy, a car that can get you to where you need to go quickly, can give you the clarity you need. Yet you use your manual labor to overcompensate for something that should have been used properly. You're misusing your energy. This is what this is about. They don't know that. The old people didn't know that. The people that are not using it don't know that. But I'm telling you now, as you're watching this video, now you know. Stop misusing your energy. It doesn't take anything away from you as a man. Emotions are not gender specific, unfortunately. Until you calibrate, rebuild, and reframe yourself, you're gonna struggle trying to understand what's going on with your body. And this is not even this is just the tip of the iceberg. As I keep learning, I keep understanding different things, I haven't even touched the surface of this. This is just my current way to help you guys, right? Resetting your nervous system. Until you understand the power of frequency and consistency, and the fact that consistency is alchemy, you're gonna carry on running laps trying to wrap your head around why is it that the very thing you're trying to do is not working. You're working against the nervous system and it telling you this program is outdated, change it, or we will have to repeat the same thing. Have you ever tried to disinstall something? Well, I'm gonna self-commit to a problem here. Movies 1, 2, 3, okay? I may have or may have not watched it, but when I did try to watch it, have you ever tried to click and then the pop-up box kept popping up, bah. It's just that, when do I get to the part where I can just click the freaking video, right? You don't know why you're doing the exact same thing with anything you're trying to do that isn't resetting your nervous system, but yet trying to change your system into doing something that it's just not used to. Every single time you take action, this is what's going on. You want to update? No, I want to keep it the same. I want to update? No, I want to keep it the same. You want to update? No, I want to keep it the same. So it gets to a point where you're in that space, you're trying to figure out what to do, but what's actually happening is this: you're basically sending two different messages, and it doesn't know how to stabilize itself because you haven't decided that this is your new reality. You deciding that this is your new reality is what resets the nervous system, which takes us to number 2: rebuild, restore the respect. Establish your standards, establish your respect. This new person, have you decided? Great, now set the person. This is the new person, these are the standards. This is what this new person thinks like. Right? James, I think it's not James Allen. The author of, Atomic Habits, right? He mentioned the fact that we should believe in systems and not goals. Although the goals set the direction, which is what I kind of agree with. But the systems is what allow the person to become. So now that you've recalibrated that person, you've decided this is what I want to become. You've recalibrated that person by rebuilding their standards and saying this is what that person does. And then you reframe, you repackage the person, right? So in this case, you show up understanding the very things this person is not able to attract. But this is after you become, you do, and then can have the very things that person has, okay? So this is the difference between being consumed by the fire Kurama has within him and learning how to master it. I hope that this video has helped you. If you're interested in working on a one-to-one basis, please feel free to do so. Drop me a message on Instagram and we're gonna pick up. You can keep living like Naruto did before he embraced Kurama, which is as half of a man or kid, or within 12 weeks understand how to embody your personal Kurama. Because I'm not here to preach to you or make it sound like I'm any better than you. The truth of the matter is that the only difference between me and you is that I just decided to, when everyone was telling me suppress, I was saying embody, and I've been embodying for the past 15 years. That's the only difference. So I hope in this video you can understand how embodying, expressing doesn't work, mastering does. Okay? If you're ready to recalibrate, let me know. But if you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notifications thing. And hope to see you in the next video, man. And please check out, you want to check out the troops from Solo Leveling. That was a good video. I want to put the link somewhere. And see you next time. Peace.